Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, Charles Woolfork, the self-talk engineer. I know I've been saying undisputed lately. I'm sorry about that. I've been bugging out lately. But today, I am here with an awesome guest. Like, this guy has been, like, I've been giddy over, having this guest on the show. It is Julius Brown III. And yes, Julius is from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised, but he got into marketing and now he's moved, but then he moved to California, started his own marketing agency and moved back to the A. So now his business is Scale the Foundation. It's an automation agency, and he builds, runs, and scales highly profitable credit repair businesses with systems, automation, and highly trained virtual assistants. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Julius Brown III. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up, man?
Hey, man. Hey, and for those who can see, this, I told him, man, that picture behind him of Kobe and Nipsey, yo, he's got to make that into an NFT, man. The thing is hot. So, Julius, your story is so inspiring on so many levels. And I know we only have so many times. We got like 30 minutes. Could you tell us your story and how you went from where you were to where you are now as a successful business owner, man? Please.
Man, where do we start, man? So it's a long story, right? But let's sum it down just for time's sake. First, like I tell people, challenges come with life in general. So I started facing challenges really early on, from losing my mom at 7 years old to my father going to prison when I turned 14 years old, to getting, I played around. I like to tell people I learned a lot from my father growing up because he was in the streets. And so I learned a lot of business tactics from my father being in the streets, but also with that at a young age, I was hanging around with the wrong crowd. Right. So I definitely was, dibbling and dabbling and 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the streets and that. Then I ended up getting to boxing. Started boxing when I was 17. I ended up moving to Philadelphia when I was 19. And so from 19 to 21, I ended up becoming ranked 19 to 21, I ended up becoming ranked number 10 in the country as a USA boxer for amateur, 125 pounds. And then January 29th, 2019, I ended up losing my vision in my left eye. So I had to have 3 eye surgeries and everything of that nature just to get my vision back. But also in the midst of everything, people would tell me, only if you believed in yourself more, right, you would win more. Only if you believe in yourself more, instead of being number 10, you would be number 1. Only if you just believed in yourself. They just kept saying that. And in Philly, I don't know, for everybody listening in, when up north, you are a grown man at 18. There's no baby, and there's not it's very a fast pace, any inner city was. So for me, seeing other grown men talk to me as only if you believed in yourself, I really wanted to know, how could somebody look at me or look at my performance and tell me that I didn't believe in myself, right? So that's when I got into self-development. I started reading books like You Are a Badass, or I started reading all kind of personal development books, and that actually took me into business, because I was living with my aunt at the time in her living room, where I actually pulled my bed out the trash can, a dumpster in the back. I pulled my bed out of there, put it in her living room, and that's where I was laying my head at. And so I was just tired of being broke, because at that same time I was broker than not even a joke. It was bad, to the where it was we would use the stove to heat the crib up, and our door was wooden. So I don't know if anybody knows about when you have a wooden door, right, and using steam to heat something up, that steam makes that wood swell. So it would be times where we were stuck in the crib, we couldn't get out the house and everything like that, which I am very grateful for those times. But I got tired of being broke. I just got tired of being I was grown. I couldn't take care of them. I'm 21. I'm seeing people, I'm talking about 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds. This is when I got into like the online, making money online, make 30, 40, 50, $60,000 online. And so that's when I started just Googling and YouTube and just using curiosity, how to make money online. Like these are the terms I will Google: how to make money online, how can I make money without working a job from home, how can I make money, how can I make $10,000 online, how can I make $1,000? Like I just started Googling terms like that. Now that I'm in this world, I understood like the Facebook and Instagram algorithm and pixels was picking me up. So I started getting hit with ads, that which led to why I'm seeing all these young kids make all this money online. So I just started dibbling and dabbling. Fast forward a little bit, I was spending all of my money that I did have when I came across money on these courses, and my aunt was not a fan of that. So she would, you know, aunt's old school, go to school, go to college, get a good job, boom, boom, boom. So she wanted me to go to college so bad, and I just didn't. I knew early on that wasn't for me. So we just used to bicker back and forth. And then again, like I said, I'm a grown man. This is basically my mom. And I don't want to be like on that level with her. I don't want to go back and forth. I don't want that to have that damage in our relationship, because people always say like the lack of money. I mean, no, money is the root of all evil. I believe the total opposite. A lack of money is the root of all evil, because in every community where there's a lack or shortage of money, that's the highest, where the highest crime takes place, right? That's where the most unsafest neighborhoods are, right? And in households, that's where the most, how many marriages, what's the percentage of marriages that break up because of finances, right? So there's so many different things around the lack of money of why that's the root of evil. And I've seen that on the forefront living with my aunt. So I ended up making the decision to go live in my car. I quit my last job at that time and I became a Lyft driver. Right. So I was homeless. I was a homeless Lyft driver. And my goal was to make my goal was just to make $100 a day. Right. The reason I wanted to do that is because I needed my mental capacity. I needed my mental space. I'm investing all my money that I do have in these courses, and I need to learn from them. And every time I'm trying to learn, my aunt is kind of going at me because of it. Oh, stop paying these scammers. Why are you paying these scammers? This, that, and the third. But she didn't know I was developing skills, like real business skills that that are needed in today's world. So I made the decision to go live in my car. Didn't tell nobody. I was driving Lyft. I told a couple people. One of my friends, Crystal, she ended up buying me a laptop off her Best Buy credit card. Right. And so she ended up helping me. And I would wake up. I remember my routine like it was yesterday. I would wake up around 4:30 a.m. I would wait for LA Fitness to open up, at 5:00 a.m. I would go in there. I was still an athlete. I'm still an athlete to this day. So it's like I would go run 3 miles, take a shower there, brush my teeth and all that cool stuff there. Then I would go catch Lyft the morning rush hour. People want to work from 6 a.m. to about 11:30. I want to slow down. Then I would go to any free library I could find, Temple, Drexel, all those colleges. I would go to the free libraries and I would continue to study those courses. And I would start to implement and try. And then I also was the time I went to my first networking event ever. It was called the M3 Accelerator in Vegas. This was after my first eye surgery. They told me not to get on any planes or anything like that. I did anyway. And I flew across the country. When I tell you my phone, like if I would have touched my phone or squeezed it a little bit too hard, my phone, I would have been traveling across the country with no phone. It was that broken. And my eye, when I ended up getting to Vegas, I ended up going blind again. So I'm going across the country, only got one eye. I ended up getting a new phone as soon as I landed, but I ended up networking and I met a lot of dope people at that event. And so when I got back to when it had to be some twin brothers that lived in California, how I got to California, but they were originally from Philly. So we ended up hitting it off and everything like that. They came back to Philadelphia to visit their grandmother, and their grandmother kind of picked up that I was living in my car. So that made her kind of gravitate towards me more. I never really told nobody. And so when she seen that, we just really hit it off, and they invited me to come live in California with them. And so before that happened, I was like, I can't go broke like that. So it's like to get my first marketing agency client. It was a place in Philadelphia, a town called Abington, right? It's right by, for people who's from Philly that might listen to this, it's by Willow Grove Mall, that area right there. And I literally, that day, I drove around every single dentist office. At that time, I was doing leads for dentists. Every single dentist office I could find, and just to try to door knock myself. And I ended up the last dentist office. I was so burnt out, man. I tell you, that right there was a challenge. That was a challenge, right? But the last office in that entire area, the last office I even told myself I was going to go to, I ended up closing for $600, $300 up front, $300 on the back end. getting. But the great thing that turned into that is I ended up getting them 73 leads in 7 days. And each lead was like $1.60, and each lead was worth to them anywhere from 200 and above.
Yo.
Right. Yeah. So that right there, that kind of let me get my next client, which was I ended up getting him at $6 grand, $2,000 a month. And now I took that money and I moved across the country with it. And then I did the grind all over again. The only thing that was there, like I told you before, the only thing that was different is I didn't get my bed out the trash can in California. I got it off the curb because we lived in a rich neighborhood. Where we lived at in California was actually a really, really nice neighborhood, a really, really rich neighborhood in Encino. Because the twins that I live with, their godfather was Contino Mobley, right? So any NBA player, yeah. Yep. So it was cool. So the neighborhood that we lived in was really cool. Again, pulled that bed off the sidewalk. This one wasn't all beat down like the last one. Put it in a living room, and then I made the living room my office in my room, and then I did it all over again. And then some things happened in California that didn't really play out too well. I ended up driving across the country. It was a 30-hour drive. I had a donut on my tire, and I had negative $81 in one bank account, and then like $17 in the other account. And my aunt helped me get across the country. I did it in 2 days, made it back to my dad's house. This was around April. And I ended up closing my first client, which is now my automation agency, for $5 grand. Not too long after that, we ended up having like a 15K day, and the rest is history.
Off to the races. Yo. Hey, and you guys, that was just a blip of what the man has to really say. All right. So why'd you graduate? All right. So a bunch of questions. Why'd you gravitate towards boxing?
Boxing. Woo, that's a great question. So I gravitated towards boxing because growing up, I got the same story like a lot of people do, right? Again, my father was in the streets. My mother passed away, so sports was was like a lot of us. I was looking to use sports to get out. But I sucked at basketball. I was too short. I'm short. I'm like 5'6", bro. Like I'm not the tallest person in the world, right? I don't got a little man complex though, so
Nobody said that though. Nobody's.
No, I'm just for the people here. If you're short, you gotta own it. You gotta use. I use all my 5'6" and a half. I don't know about y'all. I use all of mine.
Crazy.
But so basketball was out the question, right? Football, right now I'm gaining weight, but back then when I was a child, I was 110 pounds soaking wet. You get me? So it's like
you box at 125. That's
exactly. So it's like all the sports that I tried really wasn't it for me because one, it was built around team and stuff like that, and people like I also was bullied growing up, so I ain't the most friendliest person when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah. But boxing, I could impose my will, my way. You get me? And I could, like, once we got in that ring, it don't matter what your team did and like how we prepare all the way up to here. But when we're inside of there, nobody can save you but you. Right. And so it's like that right there gave me control. Right. And the better I got at that, the more talented I got at that, the more I actually got the things that I want, the closer I was to getting out. Yeah. So that's what made me move to Philly because that's like the mecca for boxing. Like you go there, you're either going to get ate by the sharks or you're going to become a shark. Yeah. And that's what happened. So it was just to answer your question directly. It was just because that gave me a sense of belief in myself, that gave me a sense of control over my life, and it wasn't nothing anybody could do to stop me. And also it, like, again, losing my mom at a young age as I get older damaged me a lot, right? But it allowed me to release all of that built up anger and trauma. It gave me, that was my release. That was my home away from home.
Did that killer instinct help you any within business?
Yes, 100%.
How so?
Treat business how I treat business just how I treat boxing. Right. So I'm just relentless with it. Like even when I was boxing, my coach used to tell me, yo, stop working out so much. Why do you keep, like, I would come to the gym at 3:00 and I wouldn't leave till 8. Right. I wouldn't leave till 9. I wouldn't leave until it was close 7. Sometimes I wouldn't be the last person out, but I was damn near the last person out. Right. It got to the point where it's like, yo, that's going you hurting yourself more than you're benefiting yourself because you're not letting your body rest. Right. But now, since I'm not in the physical realm where my body still needs rest, but not like the rest it needs for boxing, I'm able to impose that same will, right, and get to build the same skill sets just in a different lane. So I just approach it like that because it allows me to become more dominant. Again, I still have that control. It's not like the home away from home feeling, but I do have that control, and that is, the harder I go at this, the better the results will be.
100,000%. A question. So what business principles did you learn from your father that maybe help you today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. That's a beautiful question right there. Man, I'm gonna put this out for everybody listening to this, right? Drug dealers are businessmen, right? They are businessmen. They're just the product that they're selling, just like business. You have a product and you have people that need that product, right? Same thing in business. We have a product and we have people that need that product, right? It's just what lane are you going to choose to go down, right? Because a lot of the principles that you get it from the plug, right? You got to make your profit and then pay the plug back, right? Here, our plug is Uncle Sam, but we get our profit. We got to pay him back at the end of the year, right? So all of the mechanics inside of business relate to the streets as well, but you just have to have that foresight. So one of the things I clearly remember growing up and how my dad is like, he has a gift of gab, right? And he definitely passed that down because now I can talk in any room, no matter what it is. I know how to communicate effectively to get my message across or whatever it may be. And like I picked up on it. I was probably maybe around the age of 12, 10, 12-ish, 12. Yeah. But my dad is also like, he's the gift of gab, not only with the streets, but also with women. And every time he would open the door for, she could be the most beautiful woman ever. Everybody's beautiful in their own skin, but she could also be the most unattractive woman ever, right? And he would always compliment them and always speak. And I'm like, Pop, why you always flirt with everybody you see? He was like, I'm not flirting. I just want to see him smile. Right. And when he said that, I was like, whoa, right? Like you just want to see him smile. Yeah. That's a great way to begin networking, right? That's how it correlated to me as I got older, right? I'm going now, like for me, when I'm doing business deals, one of the first things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compliment you because I know that's gonna kick off a dopamine response. Now you're gonna be more open to listening to me and communicating with me, right? So the same thing did. Also, another thing he did, like my dad would have samples. So he might have a blunt that's his own personal blunt, but we might go to the gas station. He'd give that blunt away. And why do you do that? Why do you give your blunt away? Because they need to get a sample. Then now they're going to come back and buy from me. So same thing. For me, I make free trainings and I give them away, AKA a sample, so you can see how good I am at what I do and how good I can help you. So now you want to come work with me.
Beautiful. That's awesome. So you got these different courses and started learning these different things. When you started to apply yourself, how was the beginning of that process? Because it was, usually with inertia, you haven't started yet. So that's the hardest part. How was that for you as you finally found that thing that you wanted to do after Googling and everything?
I tried definitely a lot of different business models. So I've definitely have some failed business endeavors. Drop shipping did not work for me. The marketing agency did not work for me. I did high ticket sales. That's where the gift of gab came into play. That's what worked for me. But that inertia, even just to get the pick up, it was, can we cuss on here?
Go for it.
Cool. It was shit. It definitely was hard. It's like all of us. It was shit, getting in, but it's just the mindset. Like I have a free training I'm about to drop. The mindset is the most important thing to become a successful entrepreneur. And again, I was so tired of being broke and having to ask my aunt for this or my homies for this and having to split this with my homies if when both of us down, that I didn't care how hard it was going to be. I was just going to keep going until I figured it out. And so that's what made it easier, but it was shit. It definitely wasn't easy. Yeah. I just kept going, to be honest. I just kept going.
Hey, that's the biggest principle. There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Yep. However, the only way that you can fail is when you quit. And as you can see, you became a success because you did not quit.
Yes, sir. 100%.
That's awesome. Oh, sorry. The M3 Accelerator conference. What was the importance of that event?
Ooh, you're dope at this, bro. I like this. You got some great questions, man. The M3 said, what was the importance of that? That was the first time I exposed myself to like-minded people in a sense, right? Outside of boxing, right? Boxing, it was just like, we all in here, we fighting. Like it was just, the brotherhood was built because we all in here grinding, sweat, blood, tears, whatever it may be. But when it came to the business world and something that I was completely new to, and everybody that in my life was from sports or from my family, I didn't have no real guidance with business. So when I went to that event and I just got exposed to how that event was held and all of the people that was there and everything of like the possibilities, was the importance. It showed me the possibilities. It showed me that what was possible for myself, because exposure, Inky Johnson has a quote, exposure is one of the most important things ever. And that was one of my first that was my first exposure to like the real business world. And so that played, like that kickstarted everything, because again, it was people on that stage that was like 20 years old. I was older then, but they were making $1 million. Like it was crazy. So it's like that exposure would be the biggest importance for me off of that.
Helped you with your vision, and it also helped you with that belief in yourself.
Yep.
Speaking of that belief in yourself, like, man, you've been through like the gutter. I'm talking about like literally pulled your mattress out of it. You know what I mean? A few times. You've like you said, lived in your car. You've hustled in multiple states. You've gone to California and tried, and then you went back to Atlanta, and and tried until you were successful. But you made it. Like you made it out of all of that.
Yeah.
How is your belief in yourself now?
I don't have no other choice but to believe in myself. I don't have no other choice. No other, because if I don't, who will? And in business, that's big. If you expect, like, even when you're doing a sales call, if we wanted to tie it to business, if you don't believe in your product and your service, and you don't know how to be able to push that conviction over rather a Zoom call, in person, handshake, or whatever, looking somebody in their eyes, right? How are you expecting them to trust and spend the type of money that they will spend with you? Or how do you expect to even get to the next day if you don't believe in yourself? I believe in myself so much now because I didn't at the time. People would tell me that I didn't, and I didn't understand how they could tell me something I didn't, right? And so I went on a journey to how the fuck do I fix that? Like, how do I fix? I don't like people coming to me and telling me only if you believed in yourself, you would accomplish more. I would have more. So how do I fix that? So I didn't have any choice, because I'm also like the only one in my family, right? I'm starting to uncover some more gems in my family, but for real, where I'm at now is like, it was for a long time. I was the only person in my family that thought this way, that think this way. Like I go by Julius III on Instagram, because my father and my grandfather, the third time is the charm, right? So it's like, my father was in the streets. My grandfather was in the streets. My father, he seen somebody overdose right in front of him and die when he was 11 years old. Right. So it's like, if I don't do it, who will? I can't wait for it. I have a kid and hope he do it. No, I have to do it. So with that comes responsibility, but more importantly, that comes belief in yourself that you can even do it in the first place. So I don't have any other choice but to believe in myself.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, man. You found the key. I hate that. I hate that shit too, to where, somebody is showing you like, hey, you got a handicap, bro. You got a hand. Like for me, it was the same thing. I felt like I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? And I was the only person that was getting in my way. And I was looking for everything. I mean, I was doing everything besides freaking ayahuasca. I'm talking about meditation, affirmation, reading the books, habit change, like all these different things, writing down the schedules and goals. And the modality that we're going to do today was the thing that really shifted that mindset so fast that I couldn't even believe it. So like, what was it about credit repair and credit that really captured your attention? Or was it just the thing? It was like, oh, this is it. I got it. What was it?
To be truthful, I am not a credit repair expert or educator, right? I am a business builder, right? I understand how to, like, since I started taking these online courses back in 2018, everything I've been learning on is how to build an online business. How do you build a successful online business? And so when I seen that, and I seen the automation side of things, like so the software that I use is actually called Go High Level, right? And I white label it, I recoded it, everything to actually make it fit for my clients, right? And so what I seen is cool in business, especially in any business, but specifically my lane, online business, right? You need a niche, right? And that niche needs to have a problem that you can solve, right? So when my old homie came to me, his name is Dear CEO. He said, bro, I need this, that, and a third, right? At this time, I was still known as the marketing boy. I was still trying the marketing lifestyle. But everybody knew I had people that could build websites, or I could do this. So how I looked at it is, cool, credit repair experts, their number one job is to get access to capital. Meaning whatever price tag I put on my services, they can afford if they see the value in it, right? So that money is that's not a real objection, because their number one skill set is getting access to capital. The challenge for them is turning that capital into cash flow, right? So now if I can give them a system, a software, or whatever it may be, but a pathway that they can go down and actually see how they can turn their capital into cash flow, well, I'm a win, right? And then also it was just also automation that I caught that wave, right? When automation first started bubbling up towards the end of like the summer of 2022, I was one of the first people, like, to my knowledge right now, I'm the person who started automation agency.
The summer of 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Gotcha. You said 2022.
Yep.
I was like, it's not even summer yet.
No, the summer of 2020.
So you got into that fast.
Yeah. Yep. So when that was the first wave of COVID, right? And so that's when everybody was learning how to make money online and be at home stuck, right? So you know, the term automation started popping up. And when I did it for Dear CEO, he paid me $5,000. And I called somebody, my old business partner. I was like, yo, Dear just paid me, boom, 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 bro. Can we even do this? He was like, yeah, I think so. I was like, we got to. I already got the money. Here's $2,500. And it worked. Right. It worked really well. And what I learned is the issues he was having was poor customer service, right? Because he didn't have time to actually do the customer service, right? CRM, he didn't have the way to organize his clients and see what was going on. So I made all of that work and I freed his time tremendously, right? So I ran with that. And next thing you know, we were 4 months in and we were up 6 figures. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah, let's keep going.
Right. You're telling me that you building the foundation and back office for people right now?
Yep.
Yep. Yo, congratulations.
Thank you.
You found it. You found it like a bug.
Yes, sir.
That makes me so happy, yo.
That hence the name. Scale the foundation, right? Once you scale your foundation out the proper way, where you can scale your business to is unlimited, because now you have what I like to call, especially in the credit repair space, a 7-figure foundation. You can scale to new heights. I mean, one of my clients, he paid us $5,000, not the past Black Friday, but Black Friday of 2022. He did $125,000.
2020, yo. We're in 2022.
We're in 2022. Black Friday of it's the 2020 on it. But the Black Friday of 2020, he paid me $5,000 that weekend. He did $125,000 in 3 days. Yeah.
Oh, such a blessing, dog. Such a blessing. Man, I'm so proud of you, man. Proud of you, bro. Oh my gosh. You're making me freaking cry over here. Okay. So on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. And this is where I get the opportunity to serve, and thank you for this opportunity. Today we're going to be releasing the negative emotion of hurt and disappointment. However, I want to go ahead and let the audience know that please do not try this at home on your own. Go to a practitioner of Neuro Linguistic Programming, somebody that has your best interest and that knows this technique very well. And also go to me at charleswoolfork.com. There's a forum on the front. You can reach out to me. I'd love to be a blessing. Also, Julius, I am not a psychiatrist or a therapist or a counselor or a social worker. I'm an alternative to all of those amazing things and doing things in my own way and being a blessing. So with hurt and disappointment, how has that affected you in a way that is also being a hindrance to you today?
Yeah. Like I said a little bit earlier, losing my mom at such a young age, which was, now that I'm older, which is like, it's so crazy to say, but it's the truth, was a blessing in disguise, but also a pivotal point for my life. Because for me, where I'm at now, I don't really have I was so young, I don't have any real clear memories with my mom or of my mom like that. Right. So different things of that nature made me cold. Right. So I am cool, but it's where I say it was a blessing. It benefits me in business because I'm not too emotional to certain things that might, sometimes you might wake up and your business partner doesn't want to be your business partner anymore, or certain things in relationships with people or women or wherever it may be just aren't in the best, at the best that they can be. Right. But since I have that emotionless switch, I can detach from it and keep going like it never happened. But also, with that being said, it is a hindrance as well, because certain things, I'd like to be completely transparent. Some things I don't feel like, I don't like sometimes, and I used to question myself growing up until I just accepted it, and I understand I need to work on it. I want to go get a therapist and everything of that nature, but sometimes I don't feel, I used to be scared of it. Sometimes it does scare me because of how deep it will go. I just don't feel. So that's where it will become a hindrance, because a lot of my relationships might, like, certain things might happen, but I'm so cold in certain areas. You could do one thing and I won't, like, it's wraps for you. Like, I won't even care to try to fix it, mend it, and nothing. I'll just keep going. And I know I can't live the rest of my life like that.
Yeah.
So that's where hurt and everything will come into, because usually it's something they did to hurt me. And then now it's like, I don't ever want to talk to you again. Live your life over there. I'm gonna live my life over here.
Right. I don't want to feel that hurt anymore. So therefore, it's like the carcasses of all these relationships that are just like in behind you as you're going on your path. How do you think that if you were to keep going on, if you weren't on this show right now, about to get rid of this hurt and disappointment, how do you see your life like going with it as it affects you right now?
I'll probably miss out on a couple great relationships. For me, like, I had a tough conversation yesterday, but what was crazy about that tough conversation yesterday is I also have the motivation app on my phone. And right after the conversation, which I don't think was a coincidence how that conversation ended, but what the app, the little motivation quote came across was like, you are the author of your own story and your own life, and it doesn't have to end this way. You write the ending, right? So for me, how I look at it, I stay positive. I speak only positive over my life. So do I think it would negatively affect me in a lot of ways? Yeah, because I would miss out on a lot of great relationships. And in business, networking is very, very important. But also, with that being said, it would hold me back by missing out on a lot of relationships. I can't really put it into any more negativity that way, because I just
understood. I totally understand. Like you said, you want to speak life into yourself. Also, there's a potential of that being a potential generational curse as well. This is the small things that happen, like that your child may witness and then model, could be like something that you don't intentionally pass over, but subconsciously you do it, and therefore your child he picks it up. I did that with my mom on so many freaking things.
See, like that right there, that's what I don't want. That's what will not happen. Not even it will not happen.
Of course.
Because like that's one thing I like. When I say I don't feel it, that's one thing like I'm actually looking forward to when I do have a kid. Hopefully that actually brings some of like, oh, I can feel that, because of that person, or that baby. And that kid. So, but to answer your question again, direct, I feel like it will make me miss out on a lot of great relationships that are necessary.
100%, 100%. That's why we're going to get rid of that today. So, in order to do this process that I've done with the goddess Jada Steele, shout out to Jada for getting us together. There's only 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to use your imagination.
Okay.
Number 2, you need to follow directions, just like you follow a Google Maps or a good recipe.
Okay.
And number 3 is to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide, and I'll be leading you through this easily and effortlessly. And I come from a place of love and high vibrations.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And I'll be giving you some other directions throughout the process. Very importantly, though, is to make sure that you feel empathy and compassion and communicate with yourself and everyone in each and every event. And I'll make sure that I remind you of that.
Okay.
Awesome. Now we're going to create your timeline. With your timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. If you were to know, where's your past?
Behind me.
Where's your future?
In front of me.
Perfect. Right. Very, very linear, just like mine. Mine's to the left and then the right. So very good. All right. So is it all right? So let's go ahead and start this process. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this hurt and disappointment today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt hurt and disappointed between the ages of birth and 7? How old were you?
I was 7 when I lost my mom, actually. I would have to go with that one. But I mean, hurting, I would have to go with that one. I don't really, again, my after anything before 7 is very, very foggy. So
Understood.
Very foggy. So, but I would have to go with that one.
Understood. What do you remember about that moment, like that you learned?
Yeah, I think that was the first moment I learned that I could cut my emotions. I remember my dad walked in. I was playing a game with one of my cousins, And that's when my dad had the same day my dad got the news that my mom wasn't gonna make it, and he came and told me, and I was playing the game, and when he told me, I just said okay, and I turned around and kept playing the game. Like, he didn't just tell me that my mom was about to die. So I feel like that, I remember that. Then I also remember the moment that we was at the crematorium. Also I have foggy memories of like when my mom came home for hospice. You know, they bring the hospital bed and all that stupid stuff. I used to get in the bed with her and stuff like that because she was, you know, sickly. But that's foggy. Then I have the moment of when she did pass away, and we was at the crematorium. And like for me, I never actually got to say goodbye to my mom in a sense, right? We at the crematorium, we got to cremate it, and they wouldn't let me go back there and see her or say goodbye or anything like that because it was other dead bodies around, and I was again, I'm 7, so it's like I remember trying to destroy that place, like trying to break the chairs, punching the walls, and all that kind of stuff. My cousins, they had to sit on me just to hold me down. So that would be like everything that is like pretty vivid around that.
For sure. What's the one event that you would like to focus on for this process? For that first memory that you would like to go back to? It doesn't have to be the most vivid, but it has to be like one of the first that where you felt hurt and disappointed. For hurt, mostly.
It's hard to go with in between that time frame because I feel like well, let me think, because that would be closer to the root than what I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah. The root is very important. It's just like a weed in a garden. You want to pull it out from the root, because if you chop it off from the top, it'll just come back.
I guess the hurt of just kind of like not being able to say goodbye, not really being able to say goodbye. The disappointment in that, not really just being again, like, that would have to be number one.
100%. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it and have you feeling a whole lot better.
Okay.
You can go ahead and close your eyes and relax. This is a guided meditation. So relax and let me know when you're ready for the process.
I'm ready when you are.
Awesome. Now just keep your eyes closed until I ask you to open them. And what I want you to do is I want you just to use that imagination to start following directions right here, right now. So just imagine floating outside of your body as if though you were a spirit or energy. And just imagine seeing yourself right here, right now, from a third person point of view. See the window to your right, the picture of Kobe and Nipsey behind you, the mic in front of you, your AC/DC shirt. Let me know when you can see yourself.
I see myself.
Awesome. Now just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you into the past. Float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt hurt when you were just a little boy. And just imagine floating above that event, hovering above that event, seeing that little boy from a third person point of view. Let me know when you're above that event.
I'm above it.
Now, there's more wisdom to be had. There's more forgiveness and acceptance to be had. So as you float above that event, just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. This is an exercise of forgiveness and acceptance, forgiveness for yourself and others, and acceptance of yourself and others. Who do you have to forgive? What do you have to accept? Who do you have to accept? Focus your attention upon how hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser and learn from other people's actions and mistakes. Other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It's only a reflection of their baggage and whatever they're going through at the time. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. You're a better person than you were when those events occurred. What is something positive and empowering you can tell yourself and your mom and everyone else involved in the event with the consciousness that you have today that will allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone. Make sure that you forgive your mom or accept something that you need to accept about your mom as well. All right. Now stay right there above the event, seeing yourself like a fly on the wall. Now, with your eyes closed and you hovering above that event, tell me, what did you learn from the event?
That moment would build me into the best version and most successful version of myself. Hurt people. My father was hurt, so he could have probably pushed for a proper funeral. He could have probably pushed, but hurt people. So it's not like the forgiveness needs to be there. Because he was just acting out of his emotions. And then the guy there who wouldn't let me go back is just doing his job and actually trying to help me and protect me as a kid from seeing all the other dead bodies that were back there. And I was just letting my emotions pass from when my father first told me about the situation. In that moment is when like it became reality.
Mm-hmm. What did you have to say to yourself as a little boy?
Everything will be all right. This happened. Everything happens for a reason. Just use it to grow. I don't let them stop you. I understand that she's still with me every day, and this is going to like make her proud. Focus on making her proud compared to using the anger and let that go. Let the anger dissipate and the hurt and disappointment dissipate into like love and positive over my future.
Yeah. What is something that you can take with you into the future to make you a better person?
Focusing on the love my mom did have for me.
That's right. Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past above the dinosaurs. And then when you're above the dinosaurs, float into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Now, as you're there, floating there in space, weightless, ask yourself now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
They're gone.
Awesome. Now, float down inside the event. Sing through your own eyes as a little boy and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
They're gone.
Awesome. Float back above the dinosaurs and then float into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right, listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, just like you did with that first event. Float above each and every event in which you felt hurt and disappointed from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of all that hurt and disappointment all the way back to now. And don't come back to now until all that hurt and disappointment is gone. And when it's gone, you let me know. Take your time. This is your process.
They're gone.
Awesome. Float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Good stuff, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and test to see how you're feeling. So do you smell bacon? Okay. I asked that to take your mind off the meditation.
Okay.
You had to change your state. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you could feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Not really. No, not really. A lot of it would be connected to my dad. So anytime I kind of think about my dad or certain things like that, all of them would spark.
Is it still spark?
No, not really.
Awesome. I want you to go out into the future. Imagine going out into the future to an unspecified time in the future in which if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt hurt or disappointed. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
No, not really.
Congratulations. You just released a bunch of hurt and disappointment.
Thank you.
Yeah. How is it different now?
Just go for me. It's like one thing that I would say even from that meditation, which actually kind of brought tears in my eyes, was just accepting that my mom's gone. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Like you never looked at it like that, huh?
I have, but I never really accepted it.
You
get me? So it's just, that is what it is. Keep going. Let it, instead of letting it feel anger and numbness, let it feel greatness. You get me? So it's like, it's gone. She's gone.
And also you said something, the learnings were very powerful about how you talked about her legacy and how you're leaving it, like how she left an amazing legacy through you and how she would be proud of who you are and what you've done.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah, bro. Congratulations. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Already starting to feel in a different way, huh? That's what's the emotions that are coming over you right now?
Just the acceptance is different,
Yeah.
Just accepting that in general has always been tough, but just accepting it now is just more of a, I don't know if it's a numbness, but it's kind of like, it is what it is, it is what it is. And ain't shit I could do to change it. So it's like, go though. Like, just don't let it fuel from anger. It doesn't have to be anger.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I don't have to be mad at the world. I don't have to be, it's okay to feel and accepting that as well. It's okay to feel like, even though that is tough, but it's just, go. Don't let that stop it. Don't let that stop me or you, you know?
Mm-hmm. There's a certain amount of gratitude that you expressed as well when you talked about being able to remember your mom's love and being able to carry that forward as well. Yeah. You like how was those, like, how do you feel about her love now, looking at it from a different point of view?
It's it may not be here in person, but it's definitely there.
Yeah.
You get me? I might not
Oh
feel
yeah.
it like how you feel it when you connecting with somebody that's alive, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but the knowing that it's there and understanding that it's there, and even though I didn't get to go back and say goodbye or anything like that, doesn't deteriorate any of it. Not even not, you know, not getting to really see her ever, like, you know, from it doesn't deteriorate any of it. That's probably was the best thing that could happen, because who knows how seeing her like that would
Yeah.
have really did to me. So it's like just using that and using coming from that place, understanding like coming from a loving place is needed.
Yeah.
Needed. So using her, the love that she did have for me and she has for me, moving forward.
Hell yeah.
Come from there.
Yeah. It definitely would have been a fucked up thing in your subconscious to see her like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's no comparison at all. However, you know, there's no comparison at all. I lost my brother in 2012 to cancer, and I feel the same way about him as far as carrying on his legacy.
Yeah.
Like, we're on this conversation right now, and I can be me and transparent and just be that, like everything, me crying and shit. That's all my brother flowing through me, straight up through me, because I was not this person before. Not at all. You know what I mean? Like, I was so like insecure and everything, but my brother showed me that I could be who I am super authentically, and like people would love me for it. And that legacy, like feeling like having that, I feel like having that as a responsibility, or as the Hawaiian people call it, a kuleana, to carry his legacy forward, is, I feel his love through that every single day. You know what I mean? And I distribute that to folks like you and everyone else that I interact with.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing feeling. Like, man, when I do think of my brother, I'm like, man, I just think about how proud he probably is of me. Yeah.
And it's crazy that you said that. That sparked a thought. Like all the stories I do hear about my mom. Now that I think about it too, is like my mom was an alpha woman. She was a quote unquote masculine woman, right? So she was the driver of the household. And now what that does, even thinking from that, is I'm a high D, like from the disc and stuff.
I can tell.
I'm very, very alpha in a lot of things that I do. But I understand, like, I kind of think before this conversation, I always looked at like, damn, I was supposed to learn that from my dad, but that's something I got from my mom, because my dad is not that way. I look at it and it would sometimes, not most of the times, all the time, to be honest, would piss me off that he's not. Why are you so okay with this or that? Like, even at his age. So it's like, but I understand that wasn't that is not where I got it from. No. It's not from him, and that's where I got it from my mom. And even listening to the stories now and with a different perspective is definitely different.
Wow. So you carry on your mom in so many different ways. Just even you being you, right? Just that high D, you know, because it sounds like your dad is a high I. You know, just the flamingo, if you will.
Yeah, he's definitely a high I. He's definitely a high I.
So yeah, man, just you being you, like her essence flows through you.
Yeah, I never thought that's something I've never thought of before. That's something I've never thought of before at all. But that's where it comes from. That's exactly where it comes from. It doesn't come from my dad at all.
Beautiful, man. As we like wrap this up, how did you forgive your dad, and what did you forgive about your dad, if you did?
Hurt people. Imperfect lessons will continue to be imperfect lessons passed down unless someone changes them. So forgiving him, to be honest, I'm very, very curious to see how my interaction will be with him after this, to really see like how solid it is, honestly. But he was just doing what he figured it was best for himself and for everybody else at that time. It wasn't, It was driven by, I feel like it was driven by a lot of emotion off of the actions that my mother did. But I don't think there was no negative intent towards me. I know there was no negative intent towards me.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know where if there was negative intentions at all. Right. But I'm willing to bet that there wasn't more than that there was. And just kind of accepting that. And accepting that and understanding that he's again, he was taught by an imperfect teacher as well. So it's like I can't be mad at him forever about that, but it is what it is, you know. So at least forgiving him about it, and then of course in my own life, I don't want to be anything like that though. You get me? So it's like it doesn't have to be not being anything like that. Doesn't have to have a negative connotation attached to it, to where it's like I push him away or I don't, you know, it doesn't have to be that. It's just me just seeing what he did and refusing to do that.
You learn, like it's other, you know, you can't control anyone else's actions, but you can control your response. You can grow stronger and wiser.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, with your dad and with all of us for that matter, we're only doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. It's about consciousness more than anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, guys from the hood, like the consciousness about self-awareness and about how to love it's not there.
Yeah, it's not there.
No. So like how like with my mom was raised by freaking gangsters with my grandmother and my grandfather. So with her, she was never taught how to love. And she admitted to me, like, I never knew how to love you. And I was like, I have to accept her for that. It's like, all right, I understand, but I can learn from her and love everybody else more deeply because of her shortcomings, and also accept her for where she was, and you know how she loved me.
Yeah, true. That's true. 100%. I can second that. It's just at the end of the day, like you said, we can't control their actions. We can only control their response. And then thought now is my response moving me closer to the life that I want or further away? You know, because at the end of the day, how you respond to anything says a lot about you. So it's like, just not letting that just be not letting that be a hindrance, but also not letting it turn into a lack of principles, right? But being able to communicate principles with other, like for me, some of the things my father did, I look at as, you know, just men should not do, you know, but he's my father, so there's only so much I could kind of say in a sense, right? But when it comes to the other men in my life, whether it's friends, brothers, homies, or whatever it may be, just communicating what it's okay to have expectations if they're communicated and hold people accountable into that standard. And if they don't meet that standard, it's also okay to remove them from your life with no bad blood. And using that as, instead of looking down on my father, but as a lesson to learn that this is the standard of my life when it comes to principles and everyone that I want around me. And if you can't meet that standard, it's okay. You don't have to be around me.
I mean, and that's totally like everybody, you know, people can flow in and out of your life all the time. You know what I mean? As long as, like you said, there's no need for bad blood, and there's also no need for you to go against your integrity at all. Julius, thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment. You are officially a baggage dropper.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it being part of the family. It feels good. It definitely feels good, man. I definitely appreciate this.
I mean, you told us so much throughout this whole podcast. Please just leave us with one more word of wisdom.
Which one? I got a lot, man. My number one, man, is just keep going. Keep going, no matter whatever that vision is for yourself or whoever's listening to this, whatever that vision, that goal, God gave you that goal. God gave you that vision. He didn't give it to your aunt, your uncle, your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister. So if you truly go within yourself and start to develop and build yourself, everything that you're searching for and reaching for will come true, but you have to go. And when you start going, you have to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. So commit to that process, commit to that path, and don't stop until you get there, regardless of how hard it is to going through it. Keep going.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Sure.
Let's get it.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
my gosh. Hey, well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, bruh.
No problem, man.
And thank you all so much for your attention and your support. You guys know, if you've been listening, you know how much I love and support that, how much that love and support means to me. And you know that I love each and every one of you guys. If you please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube and Facebook, and if you're on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well.
Yes,
on
sir.
the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, Charles Woolfork, the self-talk engineer. This is Julius Brown. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.